Well, I have my little patch of dirt in suburbia. It's official now, it's mine. That's the view I see in the mornings, which isn't too bad, I've got to say. Actually, I haven't left the house for a couple of days now because I've been going around the garden area and what have you. There's my gigantic space for cars. At least two cars could fit in here, and there's the mechanism that actually operates the door there, quite a large door, and it's just a push button operation, quite easy to do. Initially I thought it was on the blink because I'll come over here to the board. So that's my switchboard, I guess, for electrical board, and it had been turned off. The one for the switches, the electrical switches, were all disengaged, and so when I pushed the remote control, absolutely nothing happened. So I was a bit worried this might be on the blink, but it wasn't. Luckily, it was just that there was no power going to it, so it couldn't operate. So it's quite a substantial piece of equipment there, and thank God it's working. So that's good news. I've got plans for the front garden. I don't really like these pebble things much. I want to have more plants, specifically along the front fence area, so that there's a little more privacy, some shrubs and some flowering shrubs. Got no shortage of trees in this property, and I like trees, gigantic palm trees, as you can see. But there seems to be a total lack of shrubbery and things like that. Flowering shrubbery. Need a plant here desperately too. I might actually use a pot. I've actually contacted two local landscapers today because I think they'll be the people who will look after the drainage for me. They'll be the best people, and they can also advise on transforming grassed areas like this, and especially like on the other side, which is worse in my opinion. There's just grass down here on this side of the building, going right along, and to me it's screaming out for a flower bed along the fence line and paving going down the back. So that's my plan. Also, this area I think was doubling up as a carport, because you can see you can drive a car right up here. But I'm thinking of actually paving this whole area. Now, it cost a bit, but if I do attractive paving, it will really come up nicely. And again, might put some potted plants in there, or not quite sure what I want to use it for. There's fluoros throughout and outside the place, and I want to get LEDs. I don't know if I'll do them externally, but I can get a quote for doing it externally or internally. The letterbox has got to go. I want to drop letterbox so parcels can be dropped, and I think that'll have to go in that section there because you need to anchor it into concrete, and the concrete here goes further across to the outside, and it needs to be totally outside so that the top can be pulled up. So that'd cost me about $300 delivered, so it's not too bad. $50 delivery from Melbourne, quite reasonable really, because it's a 900mm high and about 380 wide, and made of steel. So I think that's quite reasonable. I haven't put the order in yet. I'm sort of still contemplating what to do there, but I'm going to have to do something. And I also want to do something about this front gate. I've just got a latch on it at the moment, but I think I'd prefer to have a lock. So I'll have double locks. I've got the lock on the front door, and then anyone who wants to intrude will have to come through there as well, and have put a lock there as well. So that's my plan anyway. And I was actually speaking to my next door neighbour here yesterday, and they told me about there'd been a tenant in this particular property for 2 years. They were noisy, they had lots of domestics, and smoking dope constantly. One thing that was a little disturbing is that the guy, it was a couple, and the guy came back to the property after they'd actually moved out. And at night, I think she said about 10:30 at night, they came back and wandered around to the back of the property and just stood there for a while. So it was a bit of a worry. The people apparently next door to my immediate neighbour there to the left is a couple of coppers. So that's sort of reassuring, having police that close. So yeah, so that's probably a good thing. I don't think this is a high crime area. Maybe it'd be advisable for me to change the locks and also maybe add locks in the front there. So I'm thinking about, I've got a guy I can contact who can get here pretty quickly and get it done. I think I better get onto that because I'm a little concerned about the security here. So it's great to have it, to finally own this place and be able to do all the stuff I've got to do. I'm going to get a crap load of quotes. And I actually sold some IAG shares, which are the insurance company. Made a slight profit of probably about $450, $500. It all helps. The good thing about it is I also collect the dividends, so it's always good to take a capital gain on top of actually receiving income off the shares. So that's the ideal situation. That's what I'm expecting to do with my Coles shares. They've already gone into profit, but I'm just waiting for them to get a little higher with the price. They always get higher the closer they get to paying dividends, and there's quite a few months ahead for that to occur. But yeah, the stock market's in reasonably good shape, and I think it's a good time to basically convert to cash, because if the stock market invariably dips badly, invariably it does. It's just nature that it's going to dip. It's been quite stable recently, and the fluctuations haven't been quite as pronounced. I think people are just out of cash. They switch from cash to real estate and shares and cryptocurrency. So the governments have undermined the people's confidence in cash, and I think I heard that there's going to be an increase in interest rates, which means that savers will finally get some extra return on their cash. So that's a bit more balance in the economy. It's not good for me because it means that variable rates will probably go up, but if I sell enough shares, I'll have enough cash to basically either radically reduce my loan or wipe it out altogether. So I've got those options. So I'm very lucky in that respect. And I figure while the stock market's buoyant, it's a good time to basically convert from shares to cash. So yeah, I'm in a reasonably good position there, so that's good. So I own the place. I've got some cash now, and I'm going to. The stock market's not doing too badly, so it could be worse. I'd like to go for a walk today, but I'm waiting on a few quotes from landscapers. I've also contacted a local electrician to get the LED lighting done. I've got the money to do it, which is great, so I want to get moving ASAP and get this place into shape. I probably really should contact that locksmith and get something done there, but the trouble is I don't know exactly what they can do with this particular front gate. I assume there's those metal bars that they could attach a lock to, so I mean it's probably not that difficult. I'll take a couple of photos, send it off to them, and the person who replaced my my lock in Parramatta Park in my apartment, they came around pretty quickly and got the job done. Okay, well, I mean, they had to go back and get new locks and what have you, but they'll know exactly what they're dealing with here because there'll be a new lock. So they won't be replacing a lock, they'll be just basically putting in a new one, and I'll have to cut a hole in there and somehow put a locking mechanism in there and maybe bolster the pins that go down there because they have to be very solid. Maybe it's best to actually maybe concrete one of the pins in so you'd only open one of the doors, so you can't use it as a driveway anymore, but it does provide more security. I mean, I quite like this fence, but I need to fix it up. I need to sand these wooden sections. I need to replace ones that are missing. They're over there. And a paint job there would be nice. But the actual fence itself is in quite good nick, so I want to get that fixed up too pretty soon. So many things to do. It's just my to-do list is just gigantic. But anyway, very happy to be here in suburbia. I'm sure my next door neighbour's very happy that the renters have gone and someone who's actually owns a place is next door, because generally you're not going to have as many issues with someone like that. And so yeah, it was nice to have a chat with them anyway yesterday, so that was good. Anyway, that's basically all I've got to report. Oh, apart from the fact that this is something I didn't expect to happen. I contacted the local GP. We have a GP up the road here. It's probably about a 30-minute walk. It's a fair distance to the shops. They're in the shopping centre. There's a liquor land there, pharmacy, and some other shops as well, some takeaways. So I rang up the medical practice. I tried ringing him. I tried ringing him several times. They were engaged constantly yesterday afternoon. And I finally gave up and just sent an email to them. I did get a reply from them by phone. They just said, no, we're basically booked out with patients. We can't take anybody else. And I said, well, can you put me on a waiting list? And they said, no. I thought, what? I mean, what sort of business is that? I mean, apart from anything else, surely they can employ more GPs. Or they're that tight with space. I don't know. It just sounded extraordinary to me that a GP practice would be accepting no more new patients, or not even putting you on a wait list. I mean, come on. So basically it means if I need to get to a doctor, well, I've only got one other option now if I want to walk. I'm going to check out Trinity Beach. Maybe because they're the same practice, but they've got two different offices. Maybe they've got some availability there. Maybe they've got a larger physical space and they can take new patients. So we'll see. Anyway, I got a phone call, of course, but I'll just have to answer that and I'll get back to you later. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.